80 to 90% of my work is done handheld. Here are a couple of examples. To preface this video, I'm not saying that gimbals are bad. I'm not saying that using a glide cam is bad either. There are benefits for... Can you stop? My dog's licking himself. I think every filmmaker should be able to shoot something handheld. You're gonna get a lot of shaky shots at first, but in this video I wanted to give you 3 tips on how to get smoother handheld footage when using a Blackmagic 6K or a 4K or kind of like a cinema rig like this. With this in particular is because this doesn't have image stabilization. This doesn't it's very heavy to put on a gimbal and to use on a steady cam or a fly cam or a glide cam, whatever it is. Some of those extra gimbals and other stabilizers they're expensive. And when you just rig this out for like $2,600, you're like, okay, maybe I don't have another $300 to $500 to drop on a gimbal to stabilize this thing. So then what do? How do we get smooth shots while still using a rig like this and have it still look good? Tip number 1, and people may fight me against this, but I think make your rig heavy. Why would you want to carry around a heavy load? Well, honestly, I think it looks cool. When this is your craft and this is what you want to do, work out. Like, use it. Even if you have to do like bicep curls with this thing, like, or just hold it while you're watching TV so you get used to the weight. There is a point where like this isn't that heavy anymore. So how do we make our rig heavy? Get a bigger battery. There's a couple batteries, I'll link them down below. They're not affiliate links or anything like that, but there's a couple batteries this one's by Power Extra, and then there's one by Juicebox that I have. But adding a big battery is definitely going to help. The heavier this thing is, the less it's gonna shake in your hand as you are shooting your subject or whatever it may be. Adding a monitor, that can help too. Adding a big battery on the monitor. Let me see if I have one. You know, something like this all adds weight to this camera. And when you have weight to the camera, you get less shaky footage. That's tip number 1, which kind of leads me into tip number 2. Tip number 2 is keep your hands away from the actual camera body itself. And you can do that with a few things. You can get a top handle. You can get these for like 20 bucks. This side handle was a little bit expensive for my taste, and I don't really like how it's wearing, but you can get this for like $80. And then you have the rail system. So you can have like a makeshift shoulder rig. You can take your other hand and put it on the railings right here and have a side handle. I think these are 16-inch rails. I'll stick my other hand right here and I pull focus, and I can change focal lengths with my thumb right here. A top handle, I didn't use it for a long time until I was gonna go shoot this spec commercial for Thursday Boots. And the top handle came in handy immensely. It allowed me to get lower, and at the same time I was able to kind of like swing the camera itself. I didn't have room to pack a gimbal. I didn't have room to pack my my fly cam or anything like that. So top handle and other like peripherals around your camera, anything you can do to not touch your camera body, that's gonna help you. Tip number 3 is shoot in 60 frames per second. When you stick your shots into Premiere Pro or wherever you're editing, you can slow it down to 40%. So all you need is a couple seconds of smooth panning motion or a smooth dip or whatever it is, and it's gonna double when you're in that program. That's a really quick tip. Tip number 4 is move as one. You want 3 points of contact. 1, 2, 3. And none of these 3 points of contact are touching the actual camera body. And in effect, you get some stable shots. We've been watching movies for a long time. Our eyes are trained to see what's a home movie and what's an actual movie. Home movie feel is when you have your camera on the actual camera body itself, and all you get is shake. But when you want to get that cinematic image, you see these guys walking around with shoulder rigs. And you do get some shake, but it's slow, it's controlled, and it gives a little bit of movement to the image. So that's what we're trying to imitate here, right? We want it rigged out, we want it heavy so that we get the same similar look. You don't want to look at an image and be like, wow, that's really shaky. Because then you're just gonna get like home movie dad vibes. But when you can watch something and not notice that there's camera shake and maybe be like, wow, like I'm just into the story, or feel like you're there, that's what that movement creates. That subtle movement of camera shake kind of makes you feel like you're there. Bonus tip, hip shots look great. A lot of people I know, they watch this stuff and they're like, whoa, you didn't have a gimbal? I'm like, no.
I thought for sure that I was going to need the Ronin in order to get stable shots when using the Blackmagic. As I started working alongside Manny and seeing how he was shooting a lot of things just like on the go, handheld, and just practicing, you know, using your steady hand. And yes, having the Ronin is beneficial for certain things, but not completely necessary, and you'd be surprised how much you can do without it.
Sometimes you can't fit a stabilizer inside of a small room, and maybe you gotta get in there and get above to get a more creative angle. So if you just got your cinema rig and you just got your setup, don't worry about having to get a gimbal. Don't worry about having to get a stabilizer. It is a lot of money, and if that's your thing and that's what you want to do, go grab it. But for me, when I first started, I didn't use any of that stuff, and I needed to find a way to get my shots without spending more money that I didn't have at the moment. Thank you guys for watching. It's been a while. I've been doing a lot of like client work and I just can't seem to get away from it. Hope to be doing more videos like this. Hopefully videos that teach you guys how to not be so intimidated of these cinema cameras. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Whoa, that coffee's cold. That did not taste good. Actually, it tasted okay. That's obnoxious. People drink like that, like who are doing like tastings. I think coffee tastings, they will go. I know that with ramen, they slurp the noodles because one, it's like a compliment to a chef, right? And then they also do